A very good day. You're watching BNC AFRICA. I am Sylvia Msukwini, and this is your Midweek Report. Online crooks are increasingly targeting South Africa, which now has the third highest number of cybercrime victims in the world, as this cost about 2.2 billion rand annually. Into the news, the first quarter of this year, South Africa was also the worst affected on the continent in terms of targeted ransomware attacks, which can affect critical infrastructure. This is according to the Interpol's African Cyber Threat Assessment report released in October, as this comes as the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development recovers from a debilitating ransomware attack that unfolded in September, affecting all electric systems. Transnet and its divisions that operates in South Africa's biggest ports was also the target of the cyber attack earlier this year that affected crucial systems, and the National School of Government was previously targeted by criminals, while the private hospital group Life Healthcare was targeted last year in an attack that affected admission systems and email service. These incidents paint a worrying picture how the vulnerable South Africa is to cyber criminals and even cyber warfare. A possible example of cyber warfare showing how far-reaching and detrimental it can be to residents in the attempted poisoning of water plant in Florida in the U.S. earlier this year, as it was reported in a hacker increased the sodium hydroxide levels in the water supply that reached a town of 15,000 people. The attack was thwarted, as this past week malicious cybercrime activities also made global headlines, and it had suspected links to South Africa. The U.S. Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security added 4 companies, 2 Israeli, 1 Russian, and 1 Singapore to its entity list, as in other words, to its trade restriction list. According to the October 2021 Interpol report, there is a critical absence of cybersecurity protocol, cyber resilience, as well as mitigation and prevention measures for individuals and businesses in Africa. There are more than 500 million internet users across the continent. Kenya has the most online citizens, following by Nigeria, South Africa with about 56% of its population online. Mobile banking used widely in these countries was flagged. And in other stories, right now, 23-year-old Ntando Lurwengu was crowned Mr. South Africa 2021 on Saturday in Johannesburg. Ntando takes over the title from father of 2, Hannes van der Walt from Kempton Park in Gauteng. Ntando, a BCom graduate and entrepreneur from Durban, was the youngest contestant in the competition this year. Hosted by TV personality Nicole Besek, and the competition was judged by singer Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and also performed the pageant title holders Billy Brown, which is Mr. Mpumalanga, and Marlene Reddy Ribeiro, Mrs. South Africa 2016, the second runner-up. Stephen Johnson van Vieren placed the second, and Anton Siebert walked away with the third spot. In an Instagram post, Ntando spoke about what he hopes to achieve during his reign, as saying his goal and course during the reign as Mr. South Africa and beyond will be to create a means of access to resources for children and early as grade 1 to have access to the same or similar educational opportunities which he had and which have resulted in access economic opportunities which can be able to enable one not only to improve either life but that of others as well. In other stories, new taxes on the cards for South Africa's Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is expected to clarify South Africa's fiscal situation in his maiden medium-term budget policy statement, which is MTBPS, on Thursday, 11 November, including the possibility of new taxes. While Godongwana is unlikely to go into the details of new taxes, the MTBPS should provide some direction as to whether we will see any new taxes come February 2022, says Nazrian Kada, an Old Mutual Group's head of tax. He said in a statement, Minister Godongwana has previously indicated that he is not a proponent of increased taxes to fund expenditure, as he is on record at a recent ANC policy meeting where he expressed the views that South Africa cannot tax its way out of an economic crisis, and pointed out that the recent tax increases did not yield substantial additional revenue. And it also said in a statement, it had also been widely reported that there has been an accelerated exodus of so-called high net worth individuals out of South Africa in the recent times, which one of the reasoning being South Africa's currently high tax rates for individuals and a threat of future increases without the trends abating. Kada said that some of the taxes on the agenda and which remain hotly debated include a more permanent wealth tax or inheritance tax, also adding a possible digital tax based on the blueprint released by the Organization for Economic and Cooperation and also Development recently, which a possible green tax, the principle or the principles of which are currently being debated by the OECD. In other news, whistleblower Ethol Williams say he had to leave South Africa for his safety, fearing he would be silenced. In Cape Town, author, speaker, and former University of Cape Town professor and whistleblower Ethol Williams said he had to leave South Africa for his safety. Williams said he left the country on the 1st of November. In a statement, he describes hugging every member of his immediate family in tears before boarding his flight. He said he was not leaving the country to go on vacation or a business trip, but was leaving for his safety. Senior Gauteng health official and corruption whistleblower Duke Ran, who was gunned down outside her Winchester Hills home, was a key whistleblower in an investigation into a Deutsche Personal Protective Equipment, shortly known as the PPE contract in Gauteng. Duke Ran was shot several times outside a Joburg South Mandir home after dropping off a child at school on the 23rd of August. In a statement on Sunday, Williams said that he decided to leave after he received warnings from trusted allies and civil society organizations about a coordinated effort against him. On the 1st of June, UCT denied claims by Williams that the institution's ombudsman offered him hush money to stop raising concerns about their dealings with state capture companies. And in a statement, UCT said it respected and applauded Williams for his efforts to blow the whistle on fraud and corruption. The university said it's fully supported the Zondo Commission on inquiry into the state capture and the efforts aimed to understanding and remediating state capture and corruption. On the 1st of April, Cape Times reported that Williams accused UCT of launching a public attack on him after he allegedly rejected their cash offer. He said he believed the money was to make up for not being offered paid leave to complete a 700-page affidavit for the Zondo Commission of inquiry into state capture. In response to the claim, the university said it made a process available for Williams to engage with them to try to resolve various issues. As in March, Williams, a former senior lecturer at UCT's Graduate School of Business, testified at the Zondo Commissions on information relating to the South African Revenue of Services and former job at management consulting firm Bain. Williams also told the commission that the firm was working with former President Jacob Zuma for financial gain through state capture, as he also added that he said that UCT had not supported him when he blew the whistle and stepped out forward. At the time, the UCT released a statement in response to Williams' testimony denying his claims. When he came back, Williams told the commission that the firm was working with former President Jacob Zuma for financial gain through state capture.
Chair, the accusation in this article was that Mr. Sipho Maseko was appointed as the Group CEO of Telkom. He'd also received this CEO coaching that Bain talks about. So just like with Mr. Tomoyani at SARS, who'd worked with Bain for a year before he got appointed, Bain had also worked with Mr. Sipho Maseko for a time before he got appointed as a Group CEO. Now, Bain had worked with Mr. Maseko before, or had met Mr. Maseko before, but certainly in his preparation for his new role at Telkom, he worked with Bain, but Bain and Mr. Maseko had also been to meetings with President Zuma, and so there was an argument that, an allegation that there was some impropriety there. So what was going on, that Bain works with Maseko, Bain and Maseko go and see the president, Bain, Maseko and Mabuza, who ends up being the chairman of Telkom later, together go and see the president, and then later on Maseko's appointed as the CEO. So there was an article sort of mentioning all of these as questions. And of course, in this context of the Amber Bright and some of the SARS work, Wendy Miller was saying, well, that those allegations can be seen to have some merit if this kind of arrangement with Amber Bright is come to light.
He said that UCT had not supported him when he blew the whistle and stepped forward. Williams also testified that the university continued to do business with companies involved in state capture. At the time, UCT released a statement in response to Williams' testimony denying his claims. When we come back from the break, we look at other business news headlines.
We have all come from somewhere, being shaped and molded by our experiences. And I've learned the value of hard work and determination. There have been some highs and a couple of lows. But here I am today, successful, thanks to Ugogo and Damlin.
Welcome back. You're still watching BNC News Africa, and these are your headlining news. Assupol CEO resigns for personal reasons. Rian van Wyk resigned as CEO, citing personal reasons, will be replaced by Bridget Mokoena-Halala, who heads up Assupol Life. Rian van Wyk, the group CEO of Assupol Holdings, announced on Monday that he would step down from the role he has held since 2017 with immediate effect, citing personal reasons. The company has appointed Bridget Mokoena-Halala, the current CEO of Assupol Life, as Van Wyk's successor. Subject to regulatory approval, Mokoena-Halala will also continue in her role as Assupol Life CEO. This was your midweek report. To keep watching BNC News Africa. Goodbye.